Welcome to the Prep Pigskin Report, 1st and 15. A full 15 minutes of content before we sit down for the main entree. It's safe to say Mission Hill season did not go as planned. A tough start is one thing, but the tragic passing of Coach Eric Kwame cast a cloud over the Grizzly Nation that won't pass anytime soon. Rancho Bernardo knows a thing or two about dark clouds. The Broncos lost to Poway last Friday, marred by an ugly end-of-the-game incident that cost them an assistant coach. Which one of these teams can right the ship first? That's the question to be answered in the Week 12 Cox Communication Game of the Week. What do you say we get to Broncos Stadium? A capacity crowd on hand as RB dominates early. Quentin Haddock intercepts Noah Morris to end a long first possession drive in the end zone. Game remains scoreless. Rancho Bernardo with the ball, though. Zeke Payne to Jackson Carpenter. This 38-yard pickup will set up the first of two Landon Ogles field goals. Kid's got a big league leg, and just like that, RB's up 3-0. Jackson Oxney with the pass to Sky Don. This appears to be a game-breaking effort, but watch as Johnny Tanner will strip the ball free. Alex Flory recovers. RB hanging on to a 6-0 lead. They take it the other way and appear to be adding points right before half, but Mikhail Soto intercepts Payne, and at the break, RB's up only 6-0. Second half now, and it's the story of Jackson Oxney. He'll find Joe Smith here. That'll set up an Ezekiel Mata field goal. RB's lead cut to 6-3. Then it's Oxney to Hadnot. This touchdown reception on the crossing route there will give Mission Hills their first lead, 13-6. But here comes Noah Morris. He'll find Jack Gaylord on the 5-yard touchdown pass, wide open in the flat. This ball game is tied at 13, but Oxney is not done. Joe Smith is rumored to be able to run a 40-yard dash in under 4.4, and you know what? I don't think it's a rumor. I think it's flat-out reality. This kid has an afterburner. He'll go 50 yards, and it'll set up his own game-winning touchdown. This from a yard out, and Mission Hills rallies late to beat RB on their field. Smith with 4 receptions, 100 yards, a game-winning touchdown on the 1-yard carry there right now. Let me introduce, there's your final, 20-13 on the Cox Communication board. Now I bring in 2-time state champion and 13-time section champion, Coach John Carroll. Coach, just give us your overview to get this started.
But first, I think whoever picked this as the game of the week deserves a big pat on the back.
Well, I don't want to take the ball.
It was a pretty fantastic football game. But, you know, I've seen this 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times in the game of football. You have one team, in this case it was Rancho Bernardo, that totally dominates their opponent in the first half, is in the red zone 4 times, but only comes away with 6 points.
Well, let's get to the video. The kid we want to focus on early is Tanner. He play here that I thought was going to change the game. Can you talk a little bit about him?
You know, he was, when we talked to Coach McCoy before the ball game, he was mentioning him as a standout player on both sides of the football for him. And I thought he stood out in the whole ball game, but particularly in the first half. They used him extremely well. He made some big plays. And they did everything but get in the end zone.
And RB was running the ball well. It was surprising that they were running the ball so well against what I consider one of the best defensive lines in the county.
You know, that was the question going in. Was it going to be the stout defensive line of Mission Hills or the running game of Rancho Bernardo? And it was the running game of Rancho Bernardo in the first half.
Well, let's go to the other side of the ball, because they have the studs, Anderson and Sayao up the gut, Mission Hills, as we have some video of them. That's a pretty effective 1-2 punch, is it not?
It is, and in the second half, they really took control. It was Big Mo showed up, you know, and he took over in the second half. And besides the great play out of the sophomore quarterback who came up from the JV, by the way, for this game,
which is
amazing.
Amazing story. I think Coach Hauser is smiling ear to ear right now.
I think smiling ear to ear.
Before we go to our live guests, we have to get back to missed opportunities, because this is the play right before half. RB scores what appears to be a momentum-changing touchdown.
Yep.
But the receiver stepped on the back line. We'll see it again. And that's just simple mistakes sometimes can make all the difference in the world.
And look at that. We're probably talking about a few inches is the difference between a touchdown and I don't know if they threw an interception on this or it was a field goal.
Yeah, they threw an interception, so they
7 points.
Came away with no points. All right, let's bring in the Cox Communication Player of the Game who agreed to stay late, Mr. Joe Smith. Joe with 4 catches, 100 yards receiving, 1 carry, and 3 yards. Joe, thanks for hanging around to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the game. Tale of 2 halves. What was said at halftime that changed the momentum in your favor?
Going into halftime, it wasn't really good because we knew we could come out and have a better opportunity of winning the game. But there was a lot said, but mainly about coming out stronger, picking it up as a team, and that motivated us to win the game.
So, Joe, what's your 40 time?
My 40 time is a 4.52.
Coach, you can't teach speed, can you?
You know what? My 20 time is a 4.52.
So what do you have to say to Joe?
Outstanding game. You guys really dominated the second half with speed. And how about the play of your fill-in quarterback who looked like he'd been starting all year on the varsity?
Yeah, it was a great game. Jackson Oxeney, he was our JV quarterback and stepped up big this week because we had a lot of injuries. And he played a phenomenal game. And it was a great game for us and
Joe,
a great win.
I have a sneaking suspicion we have not heard the last of you this season nor next. He's only a junior, Coach. I think Mr. Smith has a lot of big football games coming in his future. Joe, thanks for hanging around and talking to us. Get home safely, and maybe we'll see you next week too, okay?
Okay, thank you for having me.
Joe Smith, everybody. We're going to talk more about the game in just a bit, but let us not forget the PPR is a cast of thousands waiting in the wings, starting with Rick Willis up in the North County.
Our Giraffe Republic North County Game of the Week, RBV and Santa Fe Christian Dorian Richardson breaks the school's rushing record, but is he moving on in the playoffs? Details coming up on the PPR.
B-Stone here at the Bishop School for the Jersey Mike City Game of the Week between the Knights and Vista, though by the looks of it, this is kind of a small field for football.
It's not here, it's at La Jolla High School.
We gotta go.
In this South Bay playoff game of the week, the Hilltop Lancers, a real challenge tonight as they take on the Morse Tigers, led by number 4. He is Shamar Martin. He is committed to UCLA as a cornerback, but tonight he's going to play quarterback.
These St. Augustine Saints are here to see who they're going to play next Friday night. Will be the Steel Canyon Cougars or the El Camino Wildcats. The El Cajon Ford East County Game of the Week coming up soon.
12th-seeded La Jolla Country Day facing 5th-seeded Santana. Will the Tories get the upset, or will Santana head to Mar Vista next week? Stay tuned to the PPR to find out.
Allison, you are looking live at Johnny Rotten's on Orange Avenue in Coronado. The Islander faithful gathering after their playoff game with Chula Vista. John Duran will join us with a dine and dash in just a moment. But first, Casey McKinnon is on assignment, leaving Taylor, Brady, Craddy to fill the void. Take it away, Brady.
Hey everyone, the Cox Communication Game of the Week is Mission Hills taking on Rancho Bernardo. Here are your 4 choices for this week's Big Pig on Campus. Candidate number 1 is Rancho Bernardo wide receiver Angelo Ducksworth. Candidate number 2 is Rancho Bernardo running back Jack Gaylord. The last 2 candidates are both wide receivers from Mission Hills, Quentin Hadnot and Joe Smith. If you guessed correctly which of these 4 had the best game tonight, you'll be eligible to win PPR gear and front row seats to the Silver Pigskin Gala. Stay tuned to find out who will take home the honors of being the Week 12 Big Pig on Campus. The PPR First and 15 will be right back.